Hi, everybody. I just wanted to recap the great week at MRC last week. It was the 25th year that the MRC conference in Vegas happened, and I really enjoyed connecting with customers, old friends, colleagues together and kind of really being part of the community there that has so long both educated and helped, but also kind of driving us all forward. I had the really great opportunity to do a panel on KPIs with Megan Hennessy at Wolf and Jordan Harris from iHerb. And like always, you never feel like you have enough time to go over things. And like always, probably many of you may not have actually had a chance to kind of dive into that. So I thought I'd kind of take the opportunity to just touch on some of the themes we touched on during that panel and actually show you a little bit of what good looks like based on the work that Pagos has done with some of our customers, just using the product here as a way of getting started. So I think we covered we covered some important ideas why our payment KPI is important, and I think most of us feel that way when we come to work every day wanting to know how a business is doing. But at the end of the day, what drives us here at Pagos and what we heard from the panelists was, they people need to baseline, they need to understand where they are, they need to monitor so they know where they're going from. I think data-driven decision making is hard, and you need the data. And then, of course, communication between teams is hard. So what we've done, kind of when thinking about moving payments data from being kind of a cost to being something that supports a business's strategy, a lot of that thinking has kind of gone into what Pagos is doing to try and help our customers kind of meet their goals through using payments data as an asset and actually being able to start with their KPIs. So one of the areas where we kind of where we spend a lot of time trying to give access to KPIs is actually here on the left side. You can see we have metrics, just like we covered in the panel. The big groups of metrics that are important for many businesses are revenue, which are kind of represented by approval, and the other side of that, which is declines, risk, which is things like chargebacks and refunds, and then costs, which we have down here. So I just wanted to touch on quickly what we talked about on stage. I think with approval rate, the most important thing to consider when looking at approval rate is really really trying to make it relevant for your business. So, some of the things that folks are doing with an approval rate to kind of have a good KPI is they're segmenting by aspects that really drive performance. You can see here, being able to have in this case, three PSPs, but being able to drill down to one, and then show that performance. Zoom in on that performance allows you to then go take action, such as, are you going to change the data you're sending? Are you going to control fraud differently? Are you going to message customers differently based on the way that the approval rate looks? We also, try and look at those three PSPs just as an example in kind of side by side so that you can do easy comparisons, both kind of seeing the share of the volume, but also how the performance relative to each other. But other segments are important. You can think about, card types. So a lot of times that's a big important segment. You can think about stored credential, but that's what good looks like when it comes to an approval rate perspective, like we talked about. I think the other areas we talked about were chargebacks. Doing the chargeback or calculating the chargeback rate is always tricky. So we do like to look at chargeback count as well. And same thing here applies. You're going to want to probably look at your chargebacks by reason code. That's probably one of the most important things because that, again, drives the action. Is it about product delivery? Could you do something about soft descriptors? Could you do something about even your checkout UX? And again, here, kind of showing how easy it is and how important it is to kind of pivot and look at the share of the chargeback reasons. And then finally, we didn't spend that much time on it, but I love, cost is important. So, it's important to calculate your effective rate. to get a sense of your total cost. This brings together all your fees and divides it by the total amount of sales. And you can see here in my little sandbox here, I'm hovering between 1.9 and 2, which is probably 2%, which is probably similar to many of you out there. But I think importantly from here is actually drilling down into kind of the subcategories of fees, or the category fee. So again, you can drive action. So view it by category. Is it interchange? Is it a network fee? Is it a penalty? That then drives the actions like, hey, add data. That could be adding L2, capture promptly so you're not getting integrity fees, and maybe even route. At the end of the day, we want customers and to understand, and I think we want everybody to feel like they can, track their payments, make it actionable, measure it consistently over time, build strong kind of internal communication around what's happening in payments, cross the line to connect payments to the broader business, benchmark, which I didn't even touch on, and even manage your partnerships in the ecosystem better. All of these things are how KPIs help, and how we're always excited to talk about it. Again, thank you to the MRC for a great conference. Thank you to the panelists for joining me on stage, and look forward to keeping this discussion going and helping turn payments data into an asset. See you soon.